Quick disclaimer before we start today's video. If you have not watched the last episode, go back and watch it. The thing will be up in the corner here somewhere to go and watch it. You definitely need to go and watch it because crazy things happened in that episode. The games we were meant to play didn't happen because we had other matters to attend to. Right, from this point forward, I'm going to assume you've watched it. Going to be managing Southampton next season. What we need to hope is that they stay in the Premier League because there's still a slim chance that we could get Tranmere promoted, and there's a more than slim chance that Southampton could get relegated. Just see what happens, shall we? Hey doing everybody, and welcome to part 19 of Club 2 of my career here on FM23. I'm Stu, thank you for joining me in today's video, where we definitely have those final two games of the league season, Millwall and Peterborough in the Championship, followed by what is likely to be the playoffs. You can see the table right there. There's a 4-point gap between ourselves and Burnley with 6 points left on the table. Our final games are those two. Burnley's final two games, if we quickly show you, are against Norwich and Bristol City. They're not easy games. 4th and 11th. So it's a harder running than what we've got. It's possible, but we would need them to drop points in both games. See whether it can happen. And if you're excited to see how we get on in today's video, then please do leave a like on there for me and subscribe so you never miss any of the Football Manager content from this space right here. Disclosure. Do not, you little rapscallions, go and look at how long this video is, because that will give away whether we do the playoffs today or not. I mean, we might do the playoffs, we might get eliminated in the first round of it, but I would suggest we're probably going to end up in the playoffs, in which case we are going to do the playoffs in this video. It's going to be a long one, but I'll quickly show you the running. You know about the Middlesbrough game. We won that one while we were negotiating with Southampton. Since then, very mixed form. Drew against Southampton, got battered by Nottingham Forest. That one hurt quite a bit. One shot on target the entire game. It was very, very disappointing. But then we did beat Bristol City relatively comfortably. Conceded the goal right at the very end. But Handsome Aaron, once again, I mean, it sounds like I'm saying Handsome Aaron. I mean, he is a good-looking chap. Look at the thumbnail for the last video. He is a good-looking chap. But Handsome Aaron getting a goal, and Matty Pollock getting his first of the season as well. Which brings us to our final two games of the season against a 22nd place Millwall, who are actually doing a bit better than they were when they approached me for the job. 41 points. They do still have a hope of survival, which is good to see. And Peterborough, who I think are still milling around in mid-table. They are. They're the first team in the lower half of the table. So it should be a relatively easy thing to do. And this is the 11 we're going to use. Now, I have had a tactical tweak in the last few games because at one point Tommy Lee was out. And we just had Emerson and Knight as our strikers. So we changed to this system to have the two attacking midfielders. We've had this system in a way throughout the save. Just without the deep line playmaker, we had him as an extra defender, and we had the two fullbacks pushed up as wing-backs. So it's actually quite similar to what we've used in the past. But this is the 11 we're going to be going with. It is Bergstrom in goal, Lyons, Foster, Barnes, Pollock and Penny in defence, Benson, McAllister and Shackleton in the midfield, with Lee and Handsome Aaron supporting Emerson up front. Again, Handsome Aaron been in form. That has been very good recently. Ben Hockenhull's just come back from injury. He's back on the bench. Jake O'Brien, he's just come out just to give him some space. Frankie Darbo's been trash recently. And Amari Benjamin, I think I didn't mention before, he's out for the rest of the season. He's not featured since the video before last. That was his last video that he featured in. He hasn't featured. He's completely gone for the rest of the season, which is a shame because he was our best player. Ozzy Robinson's picked up a knock as well. So that's the 11. That's what we're hoping. He's going to get us past Millwall. I kind of hope it does because I want it to go to the end. Now, what I am thinking is, if we get through this game, and there is still I haven't pressed the right button. If we get through this game and there is still a 4-point gap, what I'm thinking is, we might skip the final day of the season, and we might just go straight to the playoffs, just to cut the video down a little bit. So we'll see what happens. So the Millwall team, we don't really care about that. But yeah, I'm thinking we might do that. We might skip Peterborough completely and go straight to the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. If we still have a chance of getting seconds, I'm not going to do that because that would be utterly ridiculous. But if Burnley win today, there is nothing we can do. So we have to hope before anything else that Burnley do not win. A loss would be perfect. A loss would be ideal. A draw, not so, because then again, we're still relying on their result. But if we can get that, if they can lose today and we can win on the final day, then No, actually, even then, we still need them to do. Basically, we're hoping for them to stuff up on both of their final 2 games. And we've already discussed it could happen. Norwich and Bristol City, harder games than the ones we've got. So let's see what happens. Burnley have gone ahead, beating Norwich. As soon as I mention that, Burnley go ahead, which is absolutely fuming. So basically, whatever we do at the moment, it doesn't matter. And it's such a shame, because Jamie Shackleton has gone and scored a bit of a worldie. And it doesn't mean anything. The good news is, though, we are confirmed for the playoffs. So we are going to have the playoffs. Even with that, disregarding the result of this, we are going to have the playoffs. So that is good to know. Benson has been, do you know what? He's been superb since we've signed him, actually. I brought him to be a backup, and he's actually pushed Doyle slightly out of the team. He was incredible in the last game as well. He's been great. I'm going to miss him because his passing is superb. I'm going to miss a bunch of these players, actually, when we do go to Southampton. I want to see how good Sam Barnes measures up to the Southampton team, because I am tempted to take him with me. Don't know if I would take anyone else. I don't know if anyone else will be good enough. But he's someone I'm very interested in bringing with me. I'd be interested in bringing Bergstrom as well, actually. If we can get him from... It's Brentford, I think. And they're getting relegated. So he might actually want to come to the Premier League. Assuming Southampton stay there. I've not actually looked yet to see where Southampton are. Now, the last time I did look, they were level on games with Was it Brentford or Bournemouth? Bournemouth. They were level on games with Bournemouth. And they still maintained a 3-point lead. So Bournemouth obviously lost their game in hand, which is good. It means now they've got a solid 3-point gap. But I looked at that a couple of games ago. I haven't looked at it recently, so I'm intrigued to see what that gap is like now. What I'm not intrigued to see is the fact that Millwall are really pushing here. They are pushing for survival. You could argue that their needs are greater than ours. They are going to really be up for this one because they want to stay up. We're just looking for a very, very unlikely promotion, which doesn't bother us if we don't get it. How it wasn't a penalty, I don't know. But Hansen are now looking for Zach Emerson. Can't quite find him. And the highlight does end. Zach Emerson had a little good run, and he's kind of falling away again, which is a bit of a trend of his. I mean, I will sing his praises to the moon, because that season in League One was so unexpected when we signed him. He was incredible. And to be fair, he has made the step up to the Championship. He has stepped up. He scored a decent amount of goals at this level. It's not been perfect, but he's been fine. Same with Tommy Lee. And Amari Benjamin, I tell you what. Oh, Zach. Beautiful. As soon as I'm trying to talk him down and then I'm trying to save it a little bit, he does the work for me. Zach Emerson with a lovely chip makes it 2-0 in the 42nd minute. Tommy Lee has scored a decent amount of goals. Amari Benjamin, if he had a full season next year where he was fit, I'd be very, very interested to see how he would do as the starting striker from the start, because it took a while for him to break through into the team. That's a lovely goal. 41st minute, technically, looking at the time as well. 2-0. Good start. We are hoping that Burnley can mess things up. Burnley have messed things up a bit. I've just seen the score. I think they've conceded. I think it's 1-1. Have Burnley read the script? Yeah, keep it up, boys. Anyone playing badly? Not really. I want to see this. Yeah, Norwich have equalised. Well then. That does put a cat amongst the pigeons, doesn't it? Well then. Oh my word. I mean, they still have to mess it up on the final day as well. But as it stands, there will be a 2-point gap between ourselves and Burnley with 3 points on the table in the final game against Peterborough. Final game of the league season, I do need to point out. Apologies for the pause. Knock at the door. Had to go and sort that out. Let's carry on the game. Can't remember what my previous point was. Probably think about the fact that we're winning by 2-0, and that is pretty splendid. I'd quite like to get more goals. I'd also quite like to see Burnley losing. That's probably the biggest thing that I would like to see. Although it looks like we're about to concede a goal from Josh Onoma, which is a bit of a frustration, but it is what it is. We're still playing well. We've still got that goal advantage, so it's not the end of the world. It does bring us back within a goal, however, and it is still a draw in the game against Burnley, so good to keep an eye on that. We are just going to fire up the boys, see if we can just push on a little bit more, maybe get another goal, just to make things a little bit more certain. That would make me feel a bit better. Hansen really hasn't performed quite as well in this game, so we are going to bring him off. I think we'll bring Ben... Do we bring Ben Knight on? Yeah, do you know what? We'll give Ben Knight a chance. give him a shout. So let's see whether we can do anything. I'm also thinking, do we just take a couple of the tired legs off? I'm looking at Finley McAllister. He's played well. But let's bring on a Pia Force and swap him and Shack. In fact, no, we'll keep them that way around because Jamie Shackleton is playing well. We'll have a look at Tommy Lee in a bit as well. We'll make those 2 changes for now. And we'll see how we get on for the rest of the game. Hopefully, we get on all right. Hopefully, we get on okay. Burnley are losing. They've gone down to 83 points. Burnley are losing. And Tommy Lee's in here. And Tommy Lee is so unlucky. It's going to be a goal kick. So unlucky not to get a goal there. Burnley are definitely losing. Norwich 2, Burnley 1. Is it going to happen? To make those last few changes, we've got 3 substitutions left. Got a lot of tired legs out here, to be fair. Sam Barnes is not having a good game. Ben Hockenhull is nervous, but he is going to come on whether he likes it or not. Matt Penny's going to come on as well. And for my final trick, I'm thinking Dashner for Tommy Lee. I mean, Tommy Lee's having a good game, though. Tommy Lee is having a good game, and then so is Jamie Shackleton. Tommy Lee. Bring Dashner on. See if he can do anything. Might be holding out here. Burnley still on 83 points. And we have the opportunity to go up if Burnley lose or draw and we win against Peterborough. In our final game of the season, potentially, of the league season certainly, and of our time here at Tranmere, we could see Tranmere get promoted to the Premier League. Southampton are only 2 points ahead of Bournemouth. Three games left. Have we made a horrible mistake? I do feel like I already know the answer to that. We haven't. But we are turning up at the right time of the season. We scraped a win there, away from home as well. We should beat Peterborough. Burnley, you would have thought would beat Bristol City. We go again. Peterborough it is. Well, here we are. Final game of the league season. Peterborough United. Win. And hope that Burnley don't go up. Premier League. Just before I leave for Southampton. It's all on Burnley. Their game against Bristol City. Your 11 for the final league game is potentially our final game here at Tranmere. Bergstrom in goal, Lyons Foster, Barnes, O'Brien and Penny in defence. Benson, McAllister and Shackleton in the midfield 3 with Robinson and Hanson Aaron supporting Emerson up front. One bit of injury news. No Tommy Lee. He's out. Hockenhull, we've just dropped out and we haven't played Jakoviti for the majority of the season. So let's just see what happens, shall we? Ozzy Robinson's back in. Ozzy is not fully fit, but with the injury to Tommy Lee, he is starting ahead of Ben Knight. I trust him more than I trust Ben Knight, which pains me to say because Ben Knight has been a real hero for us at times, but he's just not consistent enough. But here we go. Final game, potentially of the season and of our period here at Tranmere. Definitely the final league game of the season. If it doesn't go well for us today, it will be playoffs. And again, that is coming in this episode if we do not get automatic promotion. And you better not have been sneaky and had a look at the timestamp. But we have to win to give ourselves the best opportunity. Bearing in mind, again, it is out of our hands, really. And we've won a penalty. We've won a penalty. And apparently it's Matt Penny, of all people, our left back, who's going to take it. Why is he our penalty taker? Why is he our penalty taker? I need to see the list outside of the game. Where's Matt Penny? Matt Penny's fairly high up, to be fair. Okay, so Dashner, Doyle, Hanson Aaron, Penny. They're not on that list for some reason. I haven't updated it since January, have I? Why Doyle? I mean, Doyle's the first name. I haven't updated it since January. Or since we signed Dashner. Stu. Well, we've just had a golden opportunity and we've just wasted it. And Matt Penny's rating is now through the floor. How badly is that going to cost us in this game? Please remember, not actually, I don't think fighting for anything. I don't think they can get into the playoffs. Don't think they can get into the playoffs. Lawrence now looking to cross it in. Rebound goes to Hall. Back to Lawrence. Hanson Aaron manages to steal it. Aaron to Robinson. Robinson going to try and get the pass going. Back to Aaron. Shackleton now. Loses the ball to Lawrence. Looked like he was trying to win it back there, but didn't manage to do it. O'Connell now lumps it forward looking for Surridge. Barnes heads it down though. Couple of shaky performances from him. Really needs to redeem himself today. Lyons Foster gets it to McAllister. McAllister, big ball to Tommy Robinson. Definitely not Tommy Robinson. Ozzy Robinson. He's got it through. And Zach Emerson has gone and scored his 16th of the season. No flag. It counts. It's 1-0. How are Burnley doing? Burnley are still drawing. As it stands, we will be going up to the Premier League and I will be leaving the club. It's the worst possible scenario. Have we made a huge mistake? Burnley still 0-0 against Bristol City. I'm happy, but I'm not at the same time. McAllister's given away a penalty. Now they're going to have more luck than we did. It's their striker taking it. Surridge puts it in the back of the net. 1-1. Game on again. And I think that puts us back down to third. I've got so many mixed emotions right now. I don't know how I feel about any of this. Yeah, it puts us back down to third. It's still draw o'clock in Burnley and Bristol City. Still a draw. Can we go and get another goal to go ahead again? Barnes out to McAllister. Gave away that silly penalty. Ball out to Penny, who missed our penalty. All over to Shackleton to Emerson. Emerson hits the post. Tries to go for it again, but it's cleared out of the way. McAllister can't win the header, though. Shackleton hounds him and goes for the worldie. We know he's got them in him, Jamie Shackleton, but didn't do it there. Burnley still 0-0. But again, as it stands, 2 draws. And it's still Burnley. And O'Brien hits the crossbar. O'Brien hits the crossbar. Oh my word, and I think that's it for this half. We've battered them, but it's 1-1. We had a chance to go ahead through an early penalty. We missed that penalty. We then went ahead, but then a silly penalty given away by Finley. McAllister makes it 1-1. Let's tell them we're happy. Let's carry on. I'm going to tell him that he's not played well. I'm going to tell him to calm down. And I'm going to leave the rest of it. Let's see what happens. Keeping an eye on that Burnley score as well. Still 0-0. As it stands, they will be going to the Premier League. We will be going into the playoffs. Lyons Foster. Try and cross the ball in. He's going to hold it up. He goes all the way back to Barnes, actually. Half decent game, Barnes, so far. McAllister now into Benson. Shackleton goes for the worldie again. Hits the crossbar again. Oh my word, Jamie Shackleton. Emerson over. If it's Zach Emerson, if it's in the air, even though he's 6'1", it ain't going in. Still 0-0 in the game at Burnley. We have a corner. Benson. And Sam Barnes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it was Sam Barnes who did it? Oh my word. And Emerson. Emerson's in. Oh, I don't know how to feel. Tranmere Rovers, as it stands, will be a Premier League club. But will our new team, Southampton? Has the gamble backfired? It might have done. And as it stands, we go up in second place. Right, Penny's coming off. Coulson's coming on. I don't know what else to do. We've got to make some changes. The team is tired. I'm going to put Finley McAllister out wide. I'm going to bring on a Pia Forson. I'm going to take Hansen Aaron off. Ben Knight's going to come on as a shadow striker. All eyes are still on the Burnley game. Well, that was a goal then. Barnsley go 2-0 up. We might have just done something incredible and paired it with making the biggest mistake we could have made in the save. It all depends on how Southampton do. And if Burnley stays 0-0. Burnley's still 0-0. What has just happened? Burnley score, Bristol City equalise. It's 1-1. What just happened? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I think you can. Burnley scored in the 89th minute. Nicolas Pepe. That's up there in the dugout. But Sissoko in the 91st minute has just scored for Bristol City. We've got less than 3 minutes of stoppage time. And I think we've just got Tranmere Rovers promoted. Oh my god, we've just got Tranmere Rovers promoted to the Premier League. I mean, we say congratulations. I want to see it with my own eyes first. Sissoko crushes Burnley dreams. And there's no playoffs. Part 1 of the nightmare scenario has unfolded. Oh no. What have we done? How are Southampton doing? How are our new club doing? Can we cancel the contract? They're still 17th. 2 games left. They're 2 points. Oh my god. Oh, and they've given us a decent transfer budget as well. Oh, oh no. It's going so badly. Oh, I mean, the wage budget's nothing, but that transfer budget. I don't want it. I don't want it. Zach Emerson has got us promoted. I don't want it. Can I stop? Can I not go? I want to stay. I want to stay. But we've got to stay and see how Southampton do. There's only 2 games left in their season. Best case scenario now, it's like when we got promoted with Dartford and we left them for Tranmere. That's best case scenario. Worst case, they go up and we stay down. And I genuinely think that might be what's about to happen. Because they've got Wolves and Chelsea. Whereas Bournemouth, their rivals, I've got Newcastle and Leeds, which to be fair are also difficult games. Newcastle away is a difficult game. Right, I'm going to do the press conference. And then we'll be back on the 9th in a day's time for this game. So give me 2 seconds and I'll be with you. Okay, we're back. Sunday, the 9th of May. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff and we're currently at midday. Let's just go ahead. And let's see what the score is. Right. I don't want to look. They're still 17th. They're still 17th. They won. They won. They're safe. Southampton are safe. Oh, thank God for that. Oh, thank God for that. We are managing a Premier League team next season. And we could have stayed at Tranmere and we would have been managing a Premier League season. But instead we've taken a gamble and it has paid off. Oh my word. Let's just see how Southampton do in their final game, shall we? What's their final game? It's against Chelsea. It's on the 16th. Shall we just I'm not gonna skip forward. I'm not gonna holiday forward, sorry. I will skip forward. We'll just go forward and we'll see what happened. Oh, my heart was in my mouth then. Oh my God. If we'd have made the move and they'd have got relegated, I would have been absolutely fuming. I would have been absolutely fuming. I don't know whether we're going to get to do a season review here. Let's go Portugal. Yeah. What? Well, you know what? Let's go Spain. Let's go Spain. Treat ourselves. Not going to bother with that. Oh my word. We don't really care about any of this really, but the hardcore fans have gone down. The core fans have gone down. The family fans have gone down. Fair weather's gone up. Casual fans have gone up. And corporate's gone up as well. I mean, they don't seem like they match to me, to be honest with you. But I feel like we've mostly sold out the stadium this year. But that's the point. I don't know whether that stadium is going to be big enough for the Premier League. Genuinely don't know whether it will be. That is something that we need to... Well, no, I don't need to know. I don't care anymore. It's going to be Zach Emerson, is it? Zach Emerson finishing the season strongly. 15 in 43. Nowhere near his tally last season. But he's still been a pivotal player for us. We will go through the squad before we make the jump to Southampton. We will go through it. But, my word, what a season this has been. Get to this final weekend. We'll see how Southampton do on their final game. He wants a contract. I mean, sure, yeah. Sure. He's the vice captain. It's only fair. What an end to the season. I can't believe we got them promoted. But again, I need to make this point. The reason why I've taken the Southampton job is simple. We have more of a chance of staying in the Premier League with Southampton than we do if we stayed at Tranmere. I know we've got 3 back-to-back promotions with Tranmere, from League 2 to League 1, from League 1 to the Championship, and inexplicably on the final day, from the Championship to the Premier League. They're going straight down to the Championship. And the recruitment in the summer has to be good enough to keep the club in the Championship. I don't know whether it will be. I genuinely don't know. Right, I think it will be the Sunday is going to be the final game of the season. Let's see. I can't remember. But we'll go to the Monday. Game should have been done by then. And we'll see. Right, we've avoided a taxi, which is always good to see. Right, Monday. Right, Man City have won the Premier League. Southampton, I think it's safe to say, will have lost their game. Chelsea. Draw. They got a draw. Wow. 4th place Chelsea could not get past Southampton on the final day. How did Bournemouth do? Bournemouth actually won on the final day. So Southampton, they cut it fine. They survived by 2 points. It's a low points total to survive, but they have survived. Wow. Well, we're going to accelerate to the point now where we take over with Southampton, and we'll do a final little farewell of the club at that point. If we get to the season review, we'll quickly squeeze that into this video as well. But my words, I'm actually... I don't think I'm going to talk to Sam Barnes. I'm going to decline. I kind of like to try and take Sam Barnes with me to Southampton. He might not play, but I want him with me. He's good enough to be a top player in the Championship. He might be good enough to be a fairly decent player in the Premier League. But yeah, I'm going to skip forward. And we'll see whether we do get the season review or not. So bear with me and I'll be back with that. Maybe. Possibly. I might not be. I can confirm we are going to get a season review, and let's go through it just to see the season and this part of the save-off in style. So let's have a look at the transfers in, shall we? And I think we did some of our best business in the entire save this season. We'll start off with the obvious one. Brought him in to be a backup striker and nothing more. Amari Benjamin ended up being the best player that we've got at the club by some margin as well. Probably a bit of a... That's probably a bit hyperbolic. But in terms of strikers, best striker we've got. 17 goals in 16 starts, 15 sub-appearances as well, 3 assists as well. It's a shame he got injured towards the end of the season. He had 2 niggly injuries that kept him out. The last one, keeping him out for the remainder of the season, was very frustrating. Josh Benson was a very happy surprise. Brought him in January just to be a backup. He actually ended up being a rival to Tommy Doyle. 5 assists in his 8 starts, 7 substitution appearances. Got 1 banger of a goal as well. Chef's kiss. Lucas Bergstrom played every game but 1 or 2. Was superb for us on loan from Brentford. Depending on how good he comes up when we're at Southampton, I might even try and loan him in or even sign him to be our goalkeeper. Probably backup goalkeeper, but he did a good job. Derby County got 2.1 million for Matty Pollock, and he was alright. He was okay, actually. A couple of times he was a bit ropey, but most of the time he was pretty decent. Tommy Doyle on a free, as previously mentioned. Very, very good for us. 11 assists from 38 starts, 9 sub-appearances. Got a couple of really good goals as well. He and Josh Benson, we could interchange them, and the team stayed the same. They were both very, very good in those roles. Isaac Hansen-Aaron started off so poorly, I wanted to send him back, but we didn't have the clause in the contract of the loan to be able to do so. And he ended up being superb towards the end of the season. I would have kept him if I was staying, but we're not, so we don't need to worry about that. With 9 goals and 3 assists in his 23 starts, 15 sub-appearances. Was a nailed-on starter towards the end of the season. Marcus Dewhurst played 1 substitute appearance because Lucas Bergstrom played so badly in one particular game. Did okay, did his job well. Ozzy Robinson, he's going to be a superstar in the future, I am sure. I would love to try and sign him next season for Southampton. 30 starts, 12 substitution appearances, 7 goals, 5 assists. Didn't turn up all the time, but he's only a young kid, so it is what it is. Jamie Shackleton was a bit of a steal, actually. Superb in the box-to-box and Mazzala roles. Did a bit of ball winning as well. Absolutely fantastic. Same with Finlay McAllister. Didn't pay anything for him. He was here on loan from Man United for a 2nd season. Towards the end of the season, he really forced himself into the team. Only a couple of goal contributions, but he wasn't there for that, and he did a great job. Hayden Coulson started off well, actually really fell off a cliff towards the end of the season. Was not playing well, but really good deal. £100,000 for this kid. Bargain. Only the 4 assists and 2 goals, but he did really, really well. We won't talk about Alex Yakovita. You can see there he only played 13 times for us. That's because he was bad all of the time. He should have been at the same level as, where is he? As Matty Pollock, but he really wasn't. So that one was a bit of a poor one from me. Matt Penny did his job well. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Did his job fairly competently, and I'm pretty happy with him. Lucas Dashner did okay. Technically signed him on a free. Had him on trial all summer. Went against him and then brought him back. And he did okay when he came in. Didn't do too badly at all. And Aaron Maguire made 1 appearance for us. Didn't have the best game, but he did his job. Not too worried about the transfers out, if I'm honest. I don't think there was any big players, but we did let some go. The biggest transfer fees that we made, it doesn't actually work on this, I think, was the 2.5 for Okonkwo. That was utterly ridiculous. We also sold James Balagizi part of the way through the season as well, because he just wasn't happy with what he was doing. I'm very happy, though, to report that we've done really... Should tell my words then. I'm very happy to report, however, that I'm very happy with how the season went. We were expected to avoid relegation from the Championship. I set myself a target of mid-table. We have got promoted in seconds. The media initially predicted us to go down bottom. I don't know how this has happened. Now, what I will say is I don't know whether Huddersfield have got promoted or not, because they're the only team that are not marked down as playoff, but they would be in the playoffs. So I don't know whether that means they've got promoted. We'll investigate that afterwards. But there is the table. 1 point ahead of Burnley. Burnley bottle it on the final day. They go ahead in the 89th minute. They concede in the 93rd, I think it was. Utter madness. Utter madness. And as you can see, we had a bit of a ropey start. We changed the tactic, and all of a sudden things clicked. Had a couple of ropey periods in here as well, but we just kept having these periods where we just won games. And our last 3 wins, all 2-1. All very close. Our top goal scorer was Amari Benjamin. We would have had more goals for him if he had not got injured. I mean, that's just superb. And 12,909 people in the stadium, 99% capacity. Absolutely fantastic. FA Cup did all right as well. We got past West Brom and we just couldn't quite get past Leicester City, but we had a good run there. Carabao Cup, though, had a superb run. Beat Forest Green Rovers. That's not that impressive, but we did it. Beat Premier League Crystal Palace, at least at the time. Beat Leyton Orient. That was fine. And we took Manchester City to penalties. And that's the only reason we got knocked out. Superb. So very good. Moments to remember. A 4-0 win against QPR apparently was the biggest win. Ben Knight with a goal. Emerson with a couple and Hansen Aaron with 1. That was near the beginning of the season. So that's before Hansen Aaron started to really kick on. Match to remember was apparently the Crystal Palace game against Tranmere. To be fair, I remember being stunned at that one. Then we went and did the same thing. Well, we nearly did the same thing to Man City. We didn't quite get there, but we did a really good job there. And then the goal of the season was apparently Benson. And if this is the goal I'm thinking of, I will agree with it. Let's have a look at this one together, shall we? Because this, I think, was an utter banger. And I really enjoyed it. Let's have a nose. I'm trying to think if this was on camera. It might have been, but it might not have been. So Hansen Aaron looking to do something with it. Goes back to Penny. Penny then cuts back to Benson. And then boom! Have some of that. I'm fairly confident that was on camera, actually. I'm fairly confident that was on camera. I think I remember us watching that as it happened. But it was absolutely superb, and that's one of the few times I will agree with it. In terms of the finances, we've finally got up to a 3-star reputation, which is really good. That'll help us when we get when the club gets relegated next season, because I'm pretty sure it will happen. New sponsorship deals coming in and all that. All of the revenues up apart from the competition prize money. Remember, we won League One last season. I'm pretty sure we won League One last season, but we didn't win the championship. We came second, which is ridiculous enough anyway. But the sponsorship's up by a decent amount. The broadcast revenue's up by a ton. So is corporate and hospitality. And the match day revenue's gone up as well. Merchandise sales has gone up pretty well. It's interesting, no, I don't see any shirt sales on there, which is a bit concerning. I don't really understand that. We changed the system halfway through the season to the 4-4-2 diamond. Towards the end of the season, we changed it to a kind of a 4-1-2-2-1. Kind of a weird, I don't know, almost like a Christmas tree, but not quite. But this is the one we use for the majority of the season to great effect. And apparently the best 11 is Bergstrom in goal, absolutely. Brooklyn Foster, Sam Barnes, Jake O'Brien and Coulson. O'Brien and Coulson you could make arguments against, but I would say that's probably right on balance. Sam Barnes and Foster definitely have to be there. Tommy Doyle in the midfield. I think he played the majority of the season there, so that is fair, but I do think Benson was pushing him. Fireforce and Shackleton in the middle. I would have had them the other way around, but yeah, to be fair, I think Ozzy Robinson did make a great case for himself, and I think towards the end of the season McAllister was as well, but probably a bit too late as well. Isaac Hansen Aaron is a very interesting one. I would agree with it. And again, Ozzy Robinson can probably feel a little bit hard done by, but the end of the season form that Hansen Aaron delivered just said everything, really. Tommy Lee can probably feel a bit hard done by as well, but it's Zach Emerson and Amari Benjamin. Again, for the form towards the end of the season for Zach Emerson, not necessarily a great goal scorer, but not a big goal scorer in terms of volume. He did score a fair few this season, but this season he's proven himself to be a scorer of big goals. He is the reason why we got promoted. Simple as that. Apparently the tactical style is wing play. We don't play with wingers. Accolade-wise, I haven't won anything, but that's absolutely fine. In terms of the player awards at the club, fans player of the season, Zach Emerson. Would I agree with that? I'm not sure I would, but I think there would be a case for him, so I'll allow it. I'll have to think about that one. Amari Benjamin was the young player of the season and signing of the season. Goal of the season, we already know, was Josh Benson. Top goal scorer was Zach Emerson. It's probably because he played fewer games than Amari Benjamin. Most assists was Tommy Doyle. Most player of the match awards was Zach Emerson. Highest average rating, Zach Emerson. Okay, I'm seeing why Zach Emerson was the fans player of the year. Ben Harkenhall got the most passes completed per 90 minutes. In terms of competition awards, we haven't got any because I don't think they've been announced yet. But Amari Benjamin, most goals by a player in a league match. He scored 4 in one game, and highest transfer fee paid was the $2.17 million for Jamie Shackleton. Dynamic manager timeline time. Started at Dartford. We know about this. Went all the way through, 2 seasons in. We made the switch, but there's a lot of things here that went really, really well. The record breaker from Davide Radari, remember him? I barely do. But then we made the change in and around this area. Where is it? Where's the move? It's coming up actually, but we did really, really well. National League champions, got promoted to League 2. That's when we moved on. And that, you know, history since then. So we spent 2 seasons at Dartford, and the 3 seasons here, I mean, we just absolutely battered the records. We battered the League 2 points haul. I'm fairly confident we did really well in the League 1 one as well. I don't think we didn't necessarily did anything in terms of beating the points total there, but we did get Emerson top in the goal scoring charts with 30 goals. Absolutely superb. And also, we also had the best goalkeeper as well. Best goal scorer, best goalkeeper. Arthur Okonkwo did a great job for us. And then we got to the championship, and somehow, some way, we get ourselves promoted. Absolutely superb. And that is the overall best 11. It's still in one of our... In fact, I don't even know what that formation is, but I think we've used that formation once. Maybe this team naturally uses that at the beginning of the save. But our current best 11 is Okonkwo in goal, Barnes, Hockenhull and Davies in defence. I'm not against that, to be honest with you. I think Barnes definitely deserves to be there. Davies and Hockenhull deserve to be there for their time before I arrived. Lyons, Foster and Bristow, again, for the majority of the time we've been here, that's fair. Daly's a weird one. I'd have put Doyle there, personally. Lee and Appiah Forson in the midfield. Lee in the midfield's a weird one, but he does want to play there, so that's okay. And Phillips and Emerson. That first season that Phillips had, I could understand that completely. And Emerson absolutely deserves to be there. Right. It's all about getting towards the Southampton deadline now. So let's just have a look at this squad and let's just say goodbye to it, shall we? Because I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this period of the save. It's been absolutely superb. We look at the best players in the team. How Amari Benjamin has gone to being the best player we have, I don't know. But he genuinely has done. You look at the time he spent here in 24-25. Didn't come to us at all in 25-26. But 2 seasons ago in League 2, only scored 6 goals in 16 games. Really wasn't that good for us. Then he shows up in the Championship and does that. 17 goals. Imagine if he played the whole season. Imagine if he played 46 games. He's probably the top goal scorer. 7.46 rating is utterly insane. I salute you, sir. Ozzy Robinson, I've already mentioned it, but I'd like to see what he looks like from a Premier League perspective, because I would genuinely be considering bringing him in as a playmaker, because I think he's got everything about him to do it. Passing's great. Vision's decent enough. His flair's decent enough. I think he'd be really good. He's just not very good on the ball, but we can get around that, I think. Vinny McAllister, I don't know what his upper limit is. If his upper limit is good enough, we might consider going for him. But he did a good job. Tommy Lee. Oh, I love this man. Signed him in League 1 after he got relegated to League 2. And now he's going to be a Premier League player, assuming he doesn't get sold off. Scored more goals this season, but didn't make as many assists and wasn't as crucial for us, but still did a good job. That £300,000 looking like an absolute bargain, worth up to £7 million. Great effort. Hanson Aaron, we know he's a good player. We knew that he was going to be a good player, but he struggled to begin with. Unfortunately for him, we couldn't send him back to Man United, and they didn't ask for him back either. 8 goals and 3 assists, most of those towards the end of the season. I mean, if we look at his form, that will tell the entire story. Last few games weren't so good, but that little period there, just superb. Genuinely earned his place into the team towards the end of the season, earned his place in the team of the season as well. Fantastic. But we've got to talk about this man, Sam Barnes. Probably reached as good as he can get, but I still kind of want to take him with me to the Premier League. Worth up to £2.5 million. I'm considering it. I am considering it. Playing it close to his full potential. He enjoys playing in big matches. That's the thing I'm thinking. He enjoys playing in big games. Might try and bring him, but oh, captain, my captain. I think he was with us in League 2, wasn't he? With us in League 2, came up with us to the Championship. He's going to have played in all 4 of the football leagues if he gets games in the Premier League. And that is superb. Bear in mind, he started out at Blackburn. Never played a Championship game till we signed him. And he played more or less the entire season. Had a very good season. He had 3 very good seasons. Remember, start of that season, he was trash. And then he just evolved into the best player in the league. Pretty much 2 seasons in a row. I'd love to bring him with us. I really would. Jamie Shackleton. Good signing, good solid signing. Started off a bit poorly, but he's been a really, really good player. I mean, that 6.87 doesn't tell the whole story. He has really performed and done kind of the donkey work for us. Luca Bergstrom, however, no donkey work for him. He's been great. Only the 14 clean sheets, but some of them were really important. And he's conceded more than he's appeared in. He's still a very good player, and he's still done a very good job for us. I'm very, very happy with what he's done. He's had a better rating here than he did at Peterborough and at Derby, and he was superb at both of those as well. So, very good from him. It would be a good backup goalkeeper for us if we could get our hands on him. Josh Benson, very much a championship player, but came in and played like a championship player in the championship and did very, very well. He got 1 goal and 5 assists in the half season he was with us. Much better than the season he was spending at Barnsley. Having an absolutely awful time there. He did well here, and that's the main thing. So, Zach Emerson. Very much hit his upper limit now. Remember, we signed him on loan originally from Blackpool. And was decent in that first season, but got injured and got recalled. Second season, we signed him, and look at that season. I mean, utter insanity. And then this season, okay, he's played more games. He scored far less goals. But again, not been as much of a goal scorer this season, but he's been a big goal scorer. He has scored some huge, important goals, and he has done us proud. I'm going to miss that man. I'm going to miss that man indeed. Dash and we don't need to talk about. Jake O'Brien. Remember, we signed him at the end of the League 2 campaign. He only played 3 times, and they were right at the end of it. And then he became a regular starter for us for them. Well, let's say regular starter. A very regular starter, but in the rotation. Like, he played a decent amount of games and did very well for us, both this season and last. A lot of these players came up from League 1. Like the League 2 side, not so much, but the League 1 side, a lot of these players travel with us. Magic Bollock did okay. Not spectacular, but came from Derby, did a decent job. Remember, he'd only just joined Derby last season as well, and, well, got relegated with them. Didn't get relegated with us, got promoted instead. What a G. Hayden Coulson did a decent job at left back. Not spectacular. He's not going to get any better. I would be looking to move him on next season, if this season coming, if I was staying. Matt Penny's going to be going back to his parent club as well. Don't need to dwell on him. Left side probably is one thing we really could have improved upon. Apaya Forson. I genuinely didn't think when we signed him in League 2 he would be coming up with us into the Championship. I thought we'd have moved him on. He actually proved his worth this season. He's been decent enough. 8 assists, 1 goal in 41 appearances. He's actually done better in the Championship than he did in League 1, technically, if you look at those statistics. And to be fair, even in League 2, he's scored 1 goal, which is more than those 2 seasons. And it's the only goal he scored for us, I've just realised. Well, certainly in the league, anyway. 1 league goal, and he scored it this season. But did a great job, been nice and consistent for us. Ben Knight, what a poor season from this guy. Genuinely, last season, took a while to show up. Eventually, he did. Stats-wise, he's done okay. 7 goals, 6 assists, not too bad, but just a few really poor performances and develops into a player who really doesn't like the spotlight on him. Tommy Doyle did a really, really good job for us. Those 11 assists are a huge part of the reason why we got promoted. Did a great job. 7.03 rating overall as well. Lyons Foster, I thought we were replacing him, and he ended up being as good as we needed him to be. It's actually the best season he's had in his recorded career, and it's in the Championship. 4 assists. Okay, didn't get quite as many assists as he did last season, but I think that extra rating is for his defensive ability. He has been solid, and I'm genuinely surprised by it. Stu Huss, don't worry about. Yakoviti, disappointing signing. Ben Hockenhull, this guy. Started at Manchester United, ended up at Brentford, went from Brentford to Tranmere in real life, and then from there, League 2, got promoted to League 1, got relegated to League 2, got promoted to League 1, got promoted to the Championship. Next season, he has signed a new contract, so he will be... Has he signed a new contract? No, he hasn't signed a new contract. So he might be a Premier League player next season, but he also might not be. He might end up leaving the club, which would be quite sad. Darbo did a good job enough for us, but he would very much be moved on next season. But he did a great job, actually. I was regretting signing him initially, but if you look at him last season... Okay, only the 1 assist, but he came in and he did his job. Played in the back 3, played as one of the wing backs. Did okay. Did okay this season as well, but started to decline towards the end of it. So it is what it is. And we don't need to worry about these two because they're young players. Right. Am I a Dartford? Am I a Tranmere Legends? I've got to be, surely. Favoured personnel. I've got you promoted from League 2 to League 1 to the Championship to the Premier League in consecutive seasons. What more do I need to be a club legend? What did John King ever do? seriously, in the comments, let me know what John King did. But I'll take favourite personnel. It's good to see Sam Barnes and Zach Emerson on the icons list. They deserve it. I think I deserve it as well, but they definitely do deserve it. I feel a bit emotional. I genuinely think that it would have been an incredible challenge to keep this club up next season. Now, I will say, that if I had that money next season, I didn't know we were going to get that money. But that could be enough of a war chest for me to have kept them up. But we'll never know because we're moving on to Southampton. Speaking of which, do need to move to Southampton. So give me 1 second. And here we are. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've changed from, I think it was the 22nd of May to the 30th of May, which means we have one more day as the as the Tranmere manager. I'm going flashbacks. One more day as the Tranmere manager, and then we join Southampton officially. Well, we've said goodbye to the squad. The squad have done incredibly well. For the level that they're actually at, they've done incredibly well. And there's some value in this squad as well. Obviously, Osley and Finley are the two most valuable players. Most valuable player we own is Zach Emerson, followed by Tommy Lee, Tommy Doyle, Jake O'Brien, even a Apaya Forson's up there as well. There is some value in this squad. It's going to be interesting to see what value there will be. So just to confirm how we have done in the last couple of years. I mean, if I go to me, can I see on here what I've done? Well, we've already looked at the manager timeline, so we don't need to look at it like that. But promoted from National League South with Dartford. Promoted from the National League with Dartford again. Left Dartford there for Tranmere into League 2. So we played against them in the same division. I think we did the double over them. Got Tranmere promoted in that third season of the save. First season with them into League 1. Got them promoted from League 1 to the Championship. And inexplicably in our fifth season of management, our third season with Tranmere, we got them promoted to the Premier League. But now is the time that we are moving on. And we are moving on by our final. Norwich versus Fulham. Who's getting promoted? Norwich are. We'd have taken the Fulham job. We'd still be in the Championship. We've made the right decision. But we are moving on. We are joining Southampton. Bergstrom's got another call-up as well. He is a full Finland international with 8 caps to his name. He's doing really, really well for them. Great. Really happy that Gary Davenport's got a new deal. What's our finances looking like? Only 3 million in the hole. To be fair, with the money that we've now got transfer budget, that's okay. And Premier League money will help that out as well. But here we go. It's ticked over to the 31st. And I've got a feeling it's only going to be 1 or 2 clicks. This one is taking a bit longer than the others. We are officially the Southampton manager. You know what that means, though? This border, no longer actually accurate. So, without any further ado, there we go. Red and white. That feels appropriate. Right. Well, we're not going to go into this just now. We're going to go through this in the next video. And we'll have a proper look at the squad. And we'll see what exactly we need to do to keep our new club, Southampton, in the Premier League. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the Tranmere leg of this save, then please remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss anything coming from Club 3 Southampton. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.